everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Muller67, and with me, as always, you know I got my buddy. I got my pal. He's a coffee boy, my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad.
Pretty good, not too bad, just coughing a little.
Yeah. My allergies have been really bad for the last week, so like I'm constantly coughing and sniffing. Speaking of coughing. So yeah, it's just been back and forth. But nothing too much. Just doing that and then
Nothing terrible.
nothing
You're like,
terrible.
oops, forgot to close my door.
Yeah, forgot to close my door. I always close my door just because the thing is like my wife does things and I just want to make sure that, she's not on camera doing some things, Whoa.
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, no, I've just been really busy lately. They changed my schedule at work now, so I'm off like Mondays and Tuesdays now, and then I work Wednesday, Thursday, and then like 6 hours on Friday in the morning. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So pretty much
We're
I get
still
like,
good for this time though, right?
Yeah. This time's great actually. We can even change it if we wanted to, but I think this is working just fine.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's nice to end the week with the podcast.
Yeah.
At least the live version of the podcast. I Molly grave you to just jump in and instantly get up in my face. We haven't even got halfway through the episode. It's nice to end the week. Plus, I get the weekend to kind of watch through the show. To the most end. I didn't get all the way through the show until okay, Molly.
Recently.
Well, so what ended up happening, right, is I got to episode 5. And I was like, I'll finish up the rest of the episodes. They're only 30-minute episodes except for the last 2. But then our mom called me, and me and her proceeded to talk for nearly 2 hours. And I'm like,
man.
Mom, it's 6 o'clock now. I have 5 episodes I have to watch. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I just gotta do it. And so she got off, and I watched the episodes at like 150 speed.
Oh yeah.
And so
Which wouldn't be bad.
No, it's not terrible except when they do the panic attack sequences, and then it's just like bear. It's honestly hilarious. Molly, what is wrong with you right now? She's just pushing my microphone all over the place.
You big old kitty.
Just loves to get in my face whenever I'm talking to someone on here. She just likes the attention. But yeah. I talked with today. Yesterday was LARP. It was the first weird LARP we've ever had. We had so many people show up that I actually didn't run any plot. Like, I did not have to ST at all.
Oh wow.
And it was because so many people chose to like talk and RP with each other that no one wanted to go on plot. They just wanted to talk and interact with everyone. And it was so weird and fun. And so I was just kind of like chilling around waiting for someone to come up to me. It's like, we want to look into plot or something like that, but it never happened. And the whole time people were getting pulled around, going around, doing stuff and whatnot. And next thing I know, it's 11:20. I'm just like, that's the end of the game, man. Like, dang, that's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, no, it was fun. Just a long, just a lot of people. That was the only issue. There was just a lot of people, and it was like, dang, we had at least like 35 plus people in that single area. Yeah.
Oh wow. Homestead or whatever it is.
Yeah, in Scottsdale. Yeah, we had let me think. We had like 4, 5, 6, I think 6 new people who showed up. 2 of them came by like the last game, and they were back for the next game. And then we had like our normal people plus like a couple of the other people who weren't normally there show up as well. So it was a lot. It was just a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be even crazier in 2 weeks when we do the Gotham, where according to just the pre-reg itself, we're already guaranteed to have at least 30 people there. And that's not including the people who haven't pre-read, such as the regulars who are in town naturally. So it's looking to be upward scale of like 40 to 50 plus people at the game, which will be fun. It will be good. But yep,
that's gonna be really fun. Yeah,
it should be all good. I keep saying I got the hotel. I did all that stuff. I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. I've been playing that with watching the bear as well. And now I've been watching the Owl House off to the side. That's the reason why I didn't watch all of the bear, was because I'm like, I just want like a carefree show I can just enjoy and watch. And then the Owl House, legitly, I'm watching it. I'm just like, oh no, this is like Gravity Falls level of like entertainment to me.
Yeah,
so it's
I actually started watching. What was it? I'm finishing up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but also too is I have. I'm also watching one other show too. Yeah, like a couple of them. I'm watching That 90s Show because the new season came out, and I'm a fan of That 70s Show, so I was like, yeah, I'll just watch That 90s Show. But also too is like, I'll go back in between like shows that I really like, and I'll just be like, oh, here's the Guilty Free show, like where I just shut off my brain because I've already watched this before, but I like it. And it's usually regular show or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia are those two shows for me right now, where I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'll just watch this real quick, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. But recently I've been going to bed earlier and stuff because my schedule's been really weird lately. Just like 1 minute I'm working at one place and the next minute they switch me over to this other place and like, hey, can you pick up these shifts? And I'm like, yeah. And then before you know, I was like, man, I am not getting good sleep right now, so I need to sleep. Yeah, I've been playing some of the games that I've bought on like the summer sale, like High on Life. I bought High on Life on Steam because I had it on, was it Game Pass? And then I was like, yeah, I'll just replay through it again and like do the storyline that I never did. Like, I'll react differently this time compared to like, how I was before. So I did all the crazy stuff.
All the extra stuff.
Yeah, and then like for an extra $1, they had like the DLC for that game. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But it's weird though, because like that DLC is right around the time when like they released Justin Roiland. So they removed the main gun and like put in like some random new gun, and it's fine, but it tries to be the same old gun. You're like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it's okay. Like it's okay as a DLC. And then I got like I bought all the Indiana Jones games. I've been really excited to play those. And then I bought Destroy All Humans Part 1 and 2.
Okay, I remember those games.
Yeah, I got like, I'm almost done with Part 1, and I was like, man, whoever remastered this did really well. Like it feels like how it should. The only problem that I do have is like they didn't really upgrade anything too much, where it was like to the story. It was more of like, hey, this is the same game, just with better graphics and better controls. And I'm like, that's okay. I wouldn't have paid full price for that game. But that's what I've been playing usually. That and just selling my eBay stuff. So I'm constantly always selling eBay stuff right now. Like every day I have like a sale at least, or I'll like go into some place and I'll be like, ooh, this is for sale. It's like completely sealed, and I'll put it up on eBay and within minutes it's gone. So, I'm like, okay. I got a good thing here, so I'm just going to keep on doing it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Dang. It's so crazy to me with like how I don't know. It feels like the last week flew by for some reason, and I'm not like fully processing everything going on and like enjoying myself. One of the things that I was trying to do was get a new game. Like you were mentioning all your games, I was trying to get a new game to enjoy, to just like passively play. And so I bought the Stick of Truth a while ago, and I've been playing through it. and it's an okay game. It's not the best game in the world. And I thought, you know what? Once I beat this game, I'll get the Fractured But Whole game. Until I looked and saw that you needed a Ubisoft sign-in account.
Oh, that's right.
And whenever I see a game on Steam say that you need a third-party sign-in, I don't buy the game. Unless they make you do it because it's like a registration thing. Like Final Fantasy, right? You have to go through. You have to have a third-party Final Fantasy Square Enix account, and the reason why is because they have subscription models. I do not like, and I will not help or pay money for any game that requires you to connect for a other platform selling options like EA, Ubisoft, PlayStation Network, Xbox Network. Like I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a long time because they tried to make me connect my Xbox account, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need to play a game. I don't want to give these other companies my like gaming data, because why do they need it? Like they're getting the money through Steam. They don't need my data for this. So I'm good. And so like I refuse to do it, and it really sucks because I really like Helldivers. And Helldivers did that, and I just haven't played Helldivers since then. And I very much would love Helldivers to not require it and to no longer be a thing. But
well, it's not a thing anymore.
So functionality, right? It's not a thing. You don't have. It's not mandatory. Except it still says it on the store page.
Yeah.
And they didn't say that they would not do it forever. They can sneak it in there at any point. Yeah. And PlayStation has already killed the game because they used to have like 500,000 players plus playing the game, and now they're barely holding like 100,000 players. So the damage was already done by Sony. Like Sony killed that game. It's still functional. It still will be played. It still has a community. Good for the Arrowhead studio. The thing is, even though they didn't restrict it, they still applied a restriction on people buying outside of those countries that don't have PSN. And that's where the issue arises. I'm like, they didn't require it, but they locked out the people who couldn't get PlayStation accounts. So is that a 1-to-1? No. Is it enough for me to be like, nah, it's enough? Yeah. So, because I was like on the Reddit whenever it first happened, and there was a lot of people who were like, I live in a country without PSN network and I just got banned. And they're like, I guess I'll request my money back. And so they request their money back and they get a refund. And then they removed the ban. They removed the PSN link up thing, and they can't buy the game back because they're in a restricted area. So they have like hundreds of hours of a game that they can't play. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. But yeah, so that's just my personal thing. And I've just been trying to find another game to do that for, because I like playing Final Fantasy. I like 14. I've been having some trouble getting through the newest expansion. Not because it's not interesting. There's parts of it that are kind of boring. There's parts of it that are really interesting to me. I just don't have the drive to like push through like I did on the other ones, because the other ones I had people playing with me and I could be like talking with them about the story. But in this one, it's just like I'm just by myself playing with random randos, enjoying it and just walking through it. It's fun. But yeah, that's my life. That's your life. But Austin, you know what life sucks? The life of a freaking restauranteur, apparently.
Yeah, hands. Whoa,
yeah,
hands.
Yep. Austin, this week we watched Bear season 3. Third of the season, a show that you originally made us watch. So I have to ask, Austin, what did you think of Bear season 3?
Oh man. I don't know. This season felt a little different to me. Not like I don't know. It kind of felt like it wasn't going anywhere at one point, where it kind of felt like it was sluggish a little bit.
Okay.
And there was also a point where I had to pause the show because it was getting me to a point where I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this right now. And it was like episode 2 actually, where they're all bickering in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, like they're all preparing the menu.
And like you know, like he comes in, then Richie comes in, then Sydney comes in, and like all of them come in and start yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh, I can't handle this right now. So I walked away and then came back. And then right after I walked away, it was like right when they were done arguing. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? Yeah. It always happens to me. There was also some stuff that, you know, I don't know. It kind of felt like it was kind of slow. And the only thing that I really liked from this season was actually the sous chef story. I actually really enjoyed her story, how she became like, you know, a sous chef at the Beef.
She became a line cook at the Beef, and then became the sous chef.
Sous chef, yeah.
Changed to the Bear.
Yeah, so you know, I really enjoyed that. It was the cameos that were in this season was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty good season, and then it's like, is that John Cena? Just walks out left.
That's John Cena.
I'm like, why is John Cena here?
Yep, John Cena just shows up out of nowhere, and he becomes like somewhat important that episode.
He wasn't important. He was just like one of their either friends or. Here's the thing, right? This show has put me in a level of unsurety with characters' connections, because everyone calls each other nicknames or cuz or like different like words of affirmation, and I'm sitting over here, I'm like, wait, is John Cena related to this person? Wait, are these two brothers? Are they cousins? They're getting too close. Who are these people? Who the freak is this person? Hey, there's Joe McHale, that's great. And it's like, it's all over the place. And then I'm just sitting here the whole time being like, wait, was it established that these two are cousins? I can't remember. Oh no. And then I'm just like, gosh, I've lost track of who's who. And so when John Cena showed up, I'm like, has he always been here? Have I just not been seeing him? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And I think the thing is like, I did enjoy this season. There is a lot of cool stuff that did happen this season that I really loved. But I think that the season kind of, I don't know, it like lost its flair for a second there for a while, but there was some really good story beats. Like for one, we found out that Sydney is exploring another avenue instead of the Bear, which she wants to open up a restaurant with that guy, I think.
I don't know so much about exploring, because that kind of came in after like midway through the season. That was supposed to be like a contingency point, you know, like it wasn't her like exploring, it was more of like, it's funny, the guy says like, I don't want this thing to be a thing of me poaching you. I'm like, that's what you're doing. That's 100% what you're doing. Like, don't try to make it what it's not. And I thought it was going to blow up by the end of the season. I thought that was going to be like the whole big blow up thing, but there wasn't like blow up in the same way. Normally there's like a big like stress-filled episode 9, and you're just like, I have anxiety, and then 10 is like them afterwards being like, it wasn't so bad, I'm sorry that I absolutely left you.
The money was in the tomato juice, like in the tomatoes.
She left when all the orders were coming in through Grubhub, and then he got locked in the freezer. Like, it's all of that stuff, and then it's just like, it's not so bad. But in this season, there wasn't really that. The only thing we had was them finding out that they got reviewed, but it didn't like. There wasn't the episode where you're watching it and just being like, I need anxiety medication.
Yeah.
Because this show does a really great job of doing anxiety onto their watcher.
Yeah, and the thing is I felt like it wasn't there really, and the only time that I felt that way, but I felt uncomfortable with it to a point where I was just like sick of it, was episode 2 where they were yelling at each other. The rest of the season, it was like, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I think the first 3 episodes really bogged me down for a while. But I also, we found out also too that like, Carmen's uncle is hemorrhaging money, and he's a gambler. Like he just can't pay back his bets, and this is not good for the Bear. But I have some theories on what season 4 is going to be about, so that's a little different thing that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what did you think of season 3? Like, I thought it was okay.
I liked it. I think for me, I think my biggest issue is it's the there's another show we watched where I pointed this out, but it feels like every season is just Carney or the bear causing the issues. Yeah. His anxiety, his like self-worth, his everything. He's the one causing the issues. And like this whole season felt like everything was his problem. It was his anxiety, his issues, his want to be like a great chef, that he made changes that affected and ruined everyone else's perception of the bear. He's the reason why the bear is a negative, is because he keeps changing the menu over and over again. He's the reason why the freaking reviewer, whenever they're like, yeah, we want the pliers so we can take pictures of it, and they're like, we don't know what the freaking plier is because we change it every freaking day. And that's his fault. And because it also felt very dismissive how much he just straight up said it's like a partnership. And I thought last season he even said that she was in control of everything. He was more or less just like a Gordon Ramsay producer of stuff, but he's basically just stole everything from her in this season.
Yeah, like it gets to a point. I think what I think this season's really about is just, because it might lead up to season 4, but I believe that this is the thing that we've been wanting. Like the thing that I've been wanting for the whole show finally happened, and it was Carmy confronting Joel McHale, or like his person that forced him to who he was. And it kind of made me feel exactly like I knew it was going to go that way. I knew it was going to be exactly Joel McHale being that way. And the reason why is because it's the old tale. One of my favorite movies of all time is called Whiplash, and it stars J.K. Simmons and Desmond Miles, I think that's his name. And you know, this kid is like a musician that's trying to be a drummer for, you know, this jazz group that J.K. Simmons runs. That's like this huge jazz group, and they go to competitions and they're just great, Fletcher. And you come to find out that, like, you know, he gets in the jazz group, and J.K. Simmons is very abusive and mean to them, and he gets very abusive and mean to Desmond. And then at the end, he like completely just destroys him by like manipulating him, and then he doesn't like that, so then he gets him kicked out of the college. And then J.K. Simmons finds him later down the road. He's like, hey man, I'm sorry how it went down. You should help. I have a drumming position for like a play I'm doing. Would you like to join? And then he shows up, and in reality, Fletcher wasn't like, he was upset that he lost his job, so he switches the music on him at last minute. And he's like, oh, you don't know how to play this music? That's fine. But the ending is like Desmond coming back out, and he plays like this tremendous like Caravan solo. And the age-old question has always been, is Desmond, is he the way he is because of how J.K. Simmons treated him and he became this prodigy, or is it he just hated how he did it and told him, hey, you know, I'm not a prodigy? You know, and that's how I kind of feel with Carmy, like with Joel McHale, where he was like, I made you who you are. Like, you know, look at you. You know, you're here. This is what you wanted. And I was like, man, ouch. You know, because like you kind of knew it was coming, because when he approached him, he's like, I think of you a lot. I was like, oh man, this is cringe. Like, this is rough, man. Should be saying that to him, you know? And he's like, well, I don't think of you one bit. And I was like, oh man. I did like the confrontation. I also
that's also like a very common confrontation thing, where like if someone is obsessed about someone and then they go and they like confront them, if he actually went to like therapy and everything and talked with a therapist, the therapist would basically be like, never interact with that person, because you think about them every day, they don't think about you. It's just the truth of it, and you confronting them will do nothing for you. All it will do is make you get more obsessed, because like, why don't they think of me like I think of them? Doesn't have anything to do with like relationship or anything like that. It's just legitly like, they put such an impact on me, why did I not put such an impact on them? And so when he said that, I instantly went like, yeah,
you did it yourself, man.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Sorry.
I think what we're going to see in the next season is we are going to see this was the end of Carmy's stress, like his anxiety that he was dealing with, because at the end of that episode he talks to the chef girl. It's like, if if you could go back and be in my position, where would you want to be? And she's like, just take it slow, live, be good to each other, and I'm like, and kind of like that's why he walked away from the party that they had. Like they had like that party at Sydney's party, which also she's started having a panic attack.
Yeah, I think she was getting remorse because the idea of her like saying, because here's the thing, right? I do very much believe that she said yes to the guy in that freezer because she was like closed in.
Yeah.
Like she's interested, she hasn't decided yet. And I think whenever she saw the beef, like the beef review there, she suddenly got like a panic attack because she's like, oh, I'm betraying them, which isn't exactly true. But I definitely understand that concept if that is what happened. That's what at least what I think was going on, is she started having a panic attack because she's like, we built this from the ground up and I'm just going to pull it away from them.
That or I think that she started the wheel of the bear, like it becoming the restaurant it is now.
Yeah.
And it's really her baby, but Carmy's just the guy that knows how to get it there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how she feels. She feels like, I'm letting this down because I'm actually the one that propelled us to be this who we want to be.
To be fair, it's 100% right, because the story compounded between her and Carmy, right? The story of the bear is like the whole like the first season, everyone perceived the bear as like him, right? Because that was like the whole nickname thing, him and his brother. But then season 2, they morphed it into the restaurant itself, and that's the whole point of it, right? It's the idea that the show isn't about him; it's about the restaurant itself, and she is one of the originators who crafted it and created it.
Yeah.
I also you mentioned it. I was surprised by the napkin episode where we see the souffle chefs like behind the thing. And her going into the place, getting the free stuff, and then just like breaking down crying hit me. I was like, I get it. I get the sentimentality there. But then I got really like peeved by the cousin and the brother and the one guy just openly saying like, she can't be crying here. Like, what is she crying? Like,
yeah.
She's scaring the people.
Richie.
They're just like saying this. And I'm just like, bros, she can hear you. Like, you idiots. I did like how the brother went up to her and like they kind of like started talking through bad things. And I knew the two things that were going to connect was him being like, we don't have a line cook. And she's like, I don't have a job. And then it's just like, ha ha ha.
Hey,
knew that was going to happen.
That's how they got their start.
But
what was really funny is there's actually an actor I haven't seen in a long time, and he played her husband.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's Detective Diaz from Dexter. And I was like, I haven't seen that actor ever since I watched Dexter.
He did not look familiar to me, but whenever he was on screen, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's this dude. That's fine.
That and that story, the napkin story, was really well done. I felt the same way, man. Like when she walked in and she like was helpless. I've been in those situations where like I've looked for a job for a long time and nothing comes through, and then all of a sudden something comes through and you're like, oh my gosh, this saves me. Like I don't want to deal with that, and it's rough because when you lose a job like that and then out of nowhere, and then you have to try to find a job, and then you come to find out the job you've been doing for so long has more qualifications now. You're like, oh man.
See, that was the thing that got me whenever they're like, oh, do you not have a college degree? Sorry, they're very strict because they try to promote from within. I get so frustrated at that because that is a true thing in the corporate world that like I deal with, right? Where they're like, hey, because fun thing about the place I work, right? They have grades of payroll, right? You cannot jump to a job that it gives you more than 2 grades higher than your pay rate. So like if I'm like, we'll say like a D, I cannot jump above I cannot jump to above a B, right? If A is like the highest, B is the second, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth. But if I leave the job and then apply for an A, I could get the job. But if I apply for the B with inside of it, I will automatically be denied. Because they do not allow internal jumping that level. And I find it the stupidest thing in the world, because I'm like, you guys are cutting off people who are more qualified to do this than other people just because they work internally. And it's the same thing with like resumes and whatnot. Like people will automatically have like certain keywords where they will cut them off if it's like no college degree or no X, Y, Z. And people are getting smart with it too, because a lot of the job places are using AI to like filter through, like auto filter through resumes. And so people are realizing this, and so they're using AI to make fake, not really fake academics, but using keywords in their thing to trick the AI in thinking that they have more qualifications than they do. So like they'll say like, even though if they don't go to college, it's like I looked into getting a 3+ year degree at college. And so the AI will read 3+ year degree at college and be like, college degree approved, going in. And then the person goes in there, is like, oh, you never actually went to college. It's like, no, but you know, I got in. You've seen me, you know I'm qualified now. Screw you, AI, you know.
No.
So,
but
yeah, it was just a very, very heartfelt episode, which is why I liked it.
So there is a thing that we kind of dealt with this season. We finally got a B continued at the end of the season.
That was weird.
And they left us on a cliffhanger too. It wasn't like, because the last one left on a good note cliffhanger where it was like, hey, the restaurant is successful. Well, where does it go from here? And then the first season was like, hey, we left you on a cliffhanger of they have all this money now, they can make a restaurant. And now this one's like,
it wasn't so much make a restaurant, it was like they can
get out of the hole they're in.
They can get out of the hole. They can start fresh.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. That cliffhanger, I think it was kind of an annoying cliffhanger to me.
Yeah.
Because they do like the whole like you see keywords and then it just ends and then he's just like, what the and I'm like, bro, you didn't even open up the review. You just looked at like the highlights. You have to read the full review. And they obviously did that intentional. So I have to ask you, Austin, what do you think the review is about?
So after I watched this episode, of course, me being I actually follow a group on Reddit where we discuss like theories, and one of them is a bear group. And actually, a couple theories have gone by that I have read where I'm like, okay, this looks like it might be. So I actually believe that the bear review is good. It's 100% good. It's great. It's, you know, and I think that we got hints from a lot of people that knew about the review already. And because the thing is number one thing is the photographer, even though he said he didn't know what he was doing, Richie did call him out on it, and I believe that is true. Number two, I also believe that Nathan Porter's character, his buddy that was the baker in season 2, but he shows up in this one, he starts talking to that chef a lot, and then he's like, I said this too many times. Blonde hair, slick back guy. He played Adam Warlock and Guardians. Yeah, he kind of said he was like,
anytime I see him, I'm just like, hey, like, because of his
meme.
No, not even that.
You guys are getting paid?
He has that meme, but my brain, like, when I see him, because he's in the bear, like, I like him in the bear. I'm like, I like him as an actor now. Like, I don't care what he's in. I see him, I'm just like, hey.
Hey, he's good.
So whenever he played Adam Warlock, I was instantly like, hey, bear guy. Like, I was in other things, you know. I was like, who cares? Bear guy.
Bear guy.
It's going to be the same thing for the main character as well. I'm going to be like, hey, bear guy.
Well, that's like Richie. Richie was in the Jennifer Lawrence movie that just came out. I forget what it's called. It was like some comedy movie, but it was really good. It was actually a really good movie. And I like Jennifer Lawrence after Hot Ones. So like, I think she's a great actor, but he was in it as like her ex-boyfriend. And I was like, oh, it's him. And then
Hey, bear guy.
he was also in an episode of something else. It was something new that we watched.
Yeah,
like,
I remember us bringing it up whenever we saw him.
Yeah,
we were like,
I was like,
it's
hey,
bear
it's
guy.
Richie. Yeah, I forget what it was though.
No, I think it was a one-off.
Follow the House of Usher. It was Follow the House of Usher.
Follow the House of Usher. Okay.
Yeah. So So yeah, but I really believe but the Nathan Porter guy actually reveals when like him and Carmen are sitting at the table and Carmen keeps staring at Joel McHale. He's like, he's one of the best like chefs of all time. He was a complete a-hole. And he was like, used to be. And I was like, oh, is that like a little, he knows maybe? Or he just saying that to be with Carmi?
I think what he was actually saying, because I liked that whole scene very much. Because you got to see like all the chefs be more human and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I liked that they talked about is the whole time he's staring at Joe McHale, they start talking about how like we hate a bad boss will mold you to be a bad boss. Mm-hmm. And Sydney was listening to them, and she was like acknowledging that a lot of the things they talk about being a bad boss of, Parmy was doing it to her. Yeah. And then with him staring at him, you realize like it's this idea of like it's like this idea of trauma, right? That Joe McHale's character did to Carney. Carney does it to Sydney. Sydney will probably do that to whoever she is with in the new location if she does.
Yeah.
And I think that's the parallel that they were very much trying to make there, because each person was kind of looking at each other like this chain of like, you made me this person. And it was just a good little like pickup there that I liked.
Yeah.
But
I really think that the review is good. It's fantastic. And what he says at the end was him just being relieved of it. But I think what would be really cool, one of the theories that I did read, and they said, well, they already came in for the review and they did it. And someone pointed out a really good idea on Reddit. They're like, what if the reviewers were the guys that Richie actually takes to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Because in the review, it talks about how the chef, like they kind of like say something about the review about how chefs are, and the platter was served that night. So I was like, oh, that's a really good detail that someone probably picked up on.
I caught that too.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at probably like the same, because like whenever I finish like the show, I like to kind of go and like look through things to kind of like be like, what this person like, what was the overall consensus? Because whenever it showed like the review thing like that, I was confused because I was like, wait, was that like the review or was that like something else? Because I didn't catch all the words and everything. And I read the thing where like someone was talking about that and all that stuff. And so I saw that possibility. I also saw another person talking about the fork thing. Yeah. About how like reviewers will drop forks on the ground to see if anyone's attentive or not.
Yeah, and Richie's the one. Yeah, that like
Richie, you saw it. But like I'm not going to put huge stock in that. I do like that one, the one that you just said there, where there's like they were the reviewers. Because like that was 2 levels of reviews, right? Like they ate the stuff, they were staying longer than they intended, like than they wanted them to, and they found a way to get them out on like without time, without being rude, and they like got them to leave essentially. Yeah. So like to me, I'm like, that fits. And then I think someone said like one of the things was about like the kitchen being hectic, and no one has seen the kitchen except those people. So
yeah,
I think there is like there's legs to that actually. I don't know if that will ever be reviewed or if that's just going to be like a little, if you catch it, you catch it. But it's a fun way to end the season. The next season's coming out really early, right? Like it's coming out soon.
Yeah, they said it was going to be at the end of August, close to September, and I was like, really? But that's also what's really weird is like a lot of shows are actually doing that now, where
they're reducing the production time, because like House of Dragon and Game of Thrones has shown like you have to put out a season every year or people will lose interest. Because House of Dragon season 1, freaking a lot of people watched. House season 2 dropped by like a fraction of the watch viewers.
Yep.
And I'm just like, yeah, because it's 2 years in between. People aren't going to watch a show for 5 years or for 10 years just to get a story done. Like, we're not about that life. I do think the whole a season every like 2 times a year, that's crazy. But I think what that is, I don't think that's actually them making a season like that, but rather they shot and recorded it, and then midway through they realized, yo, there's just so much stuff we need to encapsulate. Let's split it into 2 seasons, and that's basically how they did it. Yeah. That makes the most sense to me, at least.
Yeah, no, I think that we're gonna see like this season's gonna be a lot more entertaining, in my opinion. Also, too, is like, just to give you a heads up too, but there was an episode this season that I got halfway through and I had to stop watching. Okay. Because it just I just couldn't go through it. And that was the Ice Chips episode.
Oh yeah, with the mom.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. No, especially everything that was going on. So I didn't get to finish that. I did read a synopsis of it, so I was like, okay, that's fine.
It was one of those episodes that I think for you would feel it's almost like a filler episode.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So that's why it is.
It's good closure for like the mom and the daughter. But there should be more, more to it. Yeah. I did find it funny. I forgot Jamie Lee Curtis was in the show. I forgot that was their mom. Because whenever Carney's going through that album in the one, and he gets the picture of like his mom holding him, and I'm like, is that Jamie Lee Curtis? And then like she shows up in the next episode, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, she was the mom, because it was her, the guy who played Saul Goodman, and the dude from The Punisher in the one episode where they're at the Thanksgiving dinner, where I was like, dang, this is star-studded cast of like people I like. And so it was just weird to see Jamie Lee Curtis, at least. Or some people like her, some people don't.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Austin, I think we're kind of winding down here. So I have to ask you, is there anything else you want to say about The Bear season 3?
I think that we still have a stellar cast, and there were some great moments in this season. I think out of all the seasons, this is probably the weakest, in my opinion. But, it's probably going to be a better season when season 4 drops. I feel like maybe there's going to be a lot of things that will connect to season 3 that will make it, you have to watch season 3 to see season 4.
100%. I believe that's 100%.
I believe that. I think this was more of just a slide in a little bit, and then season 4 is going to make season 3 really good, and season 4 is going to be good. Because I really enjoy this show. I love Jeremy Allen White. I think he's a great actor, and I think the whole cast is great, phenomenal. Except I do have a problem with like one or two characters, but that's just because they're annoying to me.
Oh, is it the two?
Oh yeah, it's Flack and it's his brother. It drives me nuts. Like, they're just two idiots. They're like a Charlie Day.
I'm fine with Flax because he's like the lovable goof, right? But having two of them makes it a little unbearable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, one, fine. Two, oh gosh.
Yep.
It's too much.
Sometimes I got too much into it where I was like, oh my gosh. Especially when they went to the hospital to see Claire.
That wasn't even me. That was just like him trying to like make something happen, which I'm like, that's admirable, right? For me, the thing that made me go like, oh my gosh, was whenever he went to serve the broth and he pours it in front of him and then just brings it back, and I'm just like, how freaking stupid. Like that, like, no one thinks that's how you do it, you know?
No.
Like, I'm like, come on, man. And then like Richie's like, don't talk to him. He's my side. Never again, man. Never. It makes me laugh because like they make him a bumbling idiot, and I feel bad because I think that He's actually like, I do enjoy his personality and his like mannerisms, but two of them together, it's a little much for me.
No, I get you. I feel that some way. It's just sometimes those two got me so flustered. I was like, I'm done. Just stop talking.
Fast forward.
But, yeah, fast forward. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited where season 4 is going to go, and I think that we're going to get a really good season 4. So.
Yep, I very much do. All right, Austin. I think that basically covers it for this episode of The Bear season 3. Next week, Austin, we got another The Bee show. Next week we're doing The Boys season 4. It's finishing up this week. I think Thursday is the day that the last episode comes out. So we'll be watching that, and I've been seeing stuff all over my freaking like TikTok For You page about it and other things. So there's some things that apparently happen that I'm like, okay, well, I know this happens now, but I don't know what that means. But we'll see. We'll enjoy it or we won't. Who knows? So Austin, I want to thank you again for joining me on this episode of Bros and Shows. Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much for stopping by, and everyone out there, thank you so much tuning in.